these past 2 years, well, past 4 months ago, I had the fortunate opportunity to sit on the committee to choose the next batch of community scholars.
Wow.
And we had the opportunity to give away about 50 full rides to TCU.
Expect that there will be problems, there will be issues, which we like to call opportunities. But let's be real, there will be roadblocks, things break down. We are called into leadership to handle these things that might scare away other people, and we step into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inner Work, the Collective Growth Podcast. I'm really excited to have a great conversation today with Toan Luong, and we got to meet Toan probably a year ago at a Fort Worth Chamber event where we sat on a panel together.
Yeah, honestly, after that meeting, Marianne, you instilled a lot of confidence in me too. So thank you for having me on the show, and I'm really excited. And hello to everyone that's listening. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. I still remember several things that you brought out in that conversation that may come up today. So I'm excited for that. But listeners, I want you all to know about the empire that Toan is building. He's a DFW based, he's shaking his head no, but this is the truth. DFW based entrepreneur, specializing, of course, as we know, business development and strategy. So you co-founded AMPM Concepts, and most of us know that as Ampersand Coffee, which has how many locations now?
Right now we have 2 street side locations, one in the entertainment district of Fort Worth, the second one being on the TCU campus. One just recently just opened. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary at DFW Airport. And then we just opened up our second location about 2 months ago. But it's a little kiosk, and it's featuring the first robotic barista. So
you're making records. I mean, you're setting the stage for what's to come. It's so incredible. And you've won the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year for 2023 and 2024. So in addition to really pushing the boundaries on what's possible for a young entrepreneur, you're also community-minded, serving on Tarrant County College's Business Advisory Committee. So I see you as such a role model for all of us, Toan, on what you're seeking to accomplish and really how you're doing it.
Honestly, Marianne, before you even say anything further, I feel a little guilty being here too, because for me, I told you this when I met you too. I'm literally the least talented in my team. So everything that you're stating, I want to give some flowers to my team.
Yeah.
Michael, Mimi, Dom, Tony, Angelica, and honestly, we're up to about over 100 team members now. And so for me, this is a trip, and I'm just grateful. So even before we state anymore, this is I'm here because of them too as well. But thank you for the flowers too, Marianne. The kind words. I never thought a day in my life that I would be able to even help these organizations. But as much as I've messed up in life, I've found some great people to kind of guide me through the way, and found really great mentors and friends. So
that's fantastic. And as we grow and as we scale, which I know is something you're trying to put into play too, it becomes less and less about us and more about what our teams can accomplish every day.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
I remember one of the things that you said that stuck with me, and I identified with it as well, is one of the things that's helped you as an entrepreneur is your bias toward action.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would couple that with what you just mentioned, which is allowing yourself to fail forward, so that action can carry you to the next thing rather than being stuck in the past.
Yeah, for me, I have definitely, if I want something, I'm going to go get it. Yeah, but at the same time, especially this past year, I've learned a lot about luck too as well. And so as much action as I am taking, I'm really lucky for being in the position that I am, and knowing the right people, and just the right timing in the right place, and just the right opportunities too. So action is one thing. I would say that's 70%, but that 30% is also luck.
Yeah.
And do you make your own luck? maybe we can talk about that, right?
Oh, that's a great question. So what has the last year been like for you? What's leadership like for you right now?
Well, to say the least, I feel like I've aged 20 years, Marianne. It's been a while.
I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Operating in the airport has been literally the best. I'm having the time of my life right now.
Really?
Um, for me, it's been a really humbling experience, and we can go into that too from both on the humility side,
Mm.
and then just more so understanding what hard work is and knowing what it takes to run an operation in the third busiest airport in the world. And I would want to like gloat and kind of give them their flowers too. They're doing a great job. Like I am within this past year, I feel like I've leveled up at least uh, 10 stages. I feel like I've aged 10 as well, 10 years. But at the same time, I feel as sharp as ever, more connected as ever, and just ready to grow as well. And so to kind of sum it up, I think the word for me, as cheesy as it sounds, is that I'm really grateful, Marianne. I'm grateful to be
Mhm.
here. And once, like once we talked about the story and, like for me, it's like being here and talking to you feels pretty surreal.
Mhm.
So I want to translate that to at least everyone that's listening and hope everyone grow as well.
Yeah. What has been the driver of this growth over the last year? My brain goes toward the volume and the demands of an operation at DFW Airport, but what else is going on?
What else is going on, like specifically with the company and our life in general?
What has driven your growth over the last year?
Wow. Having the right mentors in place to really guide me. I know that we have a mutual friend, Mr. Borbola, Henry Borbola.
That's right.
And so Henry has been monumental towards my growth. Also, Mr. Buchanan as well. But as much as the mentors that have driven the growth, I would say that like my business partners, we keep each other accountable. Like I mentioned, I feel like I'm the least talented. I'm also the youngest too, and for me, like having that combo really drives you to be better. And
Absolutely.
as much locations that we're opening, as much success that we're having too, like
Mhm.
that's what people see. Like with us as a group, I'm just really grateful to have a group that's we're 8 years strong. I think that we're finally figuring it out, Marianne, and I'm really excited to like talk about what's to come in the future too as well. Um, but yeah, I would say that those two things have really driven the growth for me, and just having the hunger of being the underdog.
Yeah.
Being the youngest ones in the airport, like
Mhm.
260 restaurants. But I would say that maybe less than 15 groups control all 260. And so for us, being individually like we're self-funded. And so like having going against giants and more importantly, like having them become our friends too, Marianne. It's very competitive, but at the same time, like they're just like me.
Yeah.
And when I look at the other CEOs, I just try to shut up and just try to soak it in. And honestly, and it's been working a lot too as well. And so a collective of everyone around me has really driven me and just wanting more. I feel like I'm just grateful for the opportunity and uh, because I was granted this, I'm gonna run with it. I'm not gonna waste it. So,
Mhm. That's phenomenal. What's been especially hard over the last couple of years, or what's a moment that made you doubt what you've been building over the last 7 years?
wow, a lot. I mean, like, I, I can go into the weeds too, but like for me, like just thinking about the period of time of like getting into the airport
Mhm.
and the last few years of just opening up the business. And one, like my career has been not a straight path to say the least. It's been right angles after right angles after right angles. But finally, now it's actually going towards a trajectory that I actually am really proud of too, as well. Um, but to say the least, like when I think of hard work now, right? Like what you mentioned, I think about waking up at 3 a.m., right? I think about having financial problems. And then specifically, like when we were opening up the airport, we had an investor. Getting into the airport was a story in itself, right?
Right.
We can go into that too as well. But, a big one that comes to my mind is that, once we won the actual contract, um, for me, the highs are high, they're really high now, and then when you hit the lows, they're even lower.
Yeah.
So with that story, we actually, everything was going low. We actually were 70% into our project opening up at the airport. Um, about a month and a half or 2 months prior to the grand opening, I got a phone call, from my investor saying that he had to pull out. And so for me, it went from, literally just the ironic part too, Marianne, it was, like, literally the day before, we're like, "Wow, this is going so smooth."
You're like
Going so
sailing straight to the finish.
like, and is it God? I don't know, but, like, life has a weird way of, like, kinda, humbling you out, and so
Mhm.
when I got that phone call, long story short, um, we're about the project was about 2.5 million for our shop.
Oh,
We're about 1.7 in, and long story short, he says, I gotta pull out. I'm sorry I have to do this for you. He has personal family issues that he had to take care of, but
mhm.
um, we're basically 2.5 million out of the hole, and he needed his 1.7 back.
Oh,
And for me, I never thought a day in my life that I would own any businesses, Marianne.
really?
So, ever, like I don't come from that.
Yeah.
Um, But sitting there and having a $2.5 million debt with, all the other businesses on the line, we are ironically made it even worse, because everything was going so smooth. We decided to close down one of our locations,
Mm.
for renovations, actually, at our TC location. And so doing that just kinda added to the storm, which, ultimately led us to, basically sitting there trying to figure out how we're gonna dig ourselves out of this. And so, for me, hard work now is not just like waking up at 3 a.m. and working till 12, but, the financial struggles and overcoming that too as well. But I would love to
Absolutely.
dig in the weeds with that too if whoever's listening. That's like a big story that, for me has made a monumental impact in my life.
Absolutely. So the first thing that comes to my mind is when you get that kind of news, how you steady yourself and handle your body,
Yeah.
because our bodies go into fight or flight.
Yep.
Or what did you do? How did you keep yourself calm enough to solve?
Um, this is like kind of my dark side, but I saw it coming too, Marianne. Like every great entrepreneur has that little paranoia in them. It's like- and I know you know what I'm talking about. And for me, I've always had that. You never want it to happen.
Right.
It's always there, right?
What if? What if? What
Right.
if? Yeah.
What Another lesson is that don't celebrate until the ink is dry, right? And so Uh, this is where it comes from. Where like
Yeah.
for me, like getting that news was as much as it was like a knot in my throat and going down with it. Um, I just knew that like this is why I was put in the position.
Mm.
I call it like my like weeby, but like my anime moment, my main character moment.
Yeah.
When you sit there and in a movie, in a story, you're just sitting there and the hero, they're going through something and they basically have two choices, right? Do you overcome it or do you wuss out and let it
Flounder. Yeah.
and why are you even here?
Yep.
So I sat there and when we got the news, we were literally I was on the construction site with my teammates and everyone was working. And yeah, I had to sit down for a little bit, Marianne, had that moment with myself and prayed a little bit,
Yeah.
prayed a little bit, took a breather, filled in the team, and more importantly, went to work. And
Mm.
so back to the action.
Yeah.
Um, After deciding for a little bit, like what I was going to do, um, I just knew I just needed to do something. And
Yeah.
so my life has been an accumulation of like for me, I feel like I'm like the kid from Slumdog Millionaire. Like,
Great
yeah,
movie, by the way. Incredible movie.
super like totally not me character wise, you know what I'm saying? But like what he went through and how he understood really made sense to me. So when we got that news, I was coincidentally 6 months prior to it, I got invited by the SBA to take classes for their emerging leaders class.
Wow.
And so it's basically a program, and shout out to the SBA. Um, Great organization. Everyone should get connected, and they'll help you a lot. But yeah, I was actually invited to basically sit in a class for 6 months and learn from not only them, but other CEOs, and to basically talk about our problems and how to basically handle them from, financials down to management. But for me, being the youngest in the room, um, I just sat there and for the most part, I just sat there and shut up, Marianne, and try to soak in as much as possible. And so, like, for me, it was a really good learning experience. But, in the first 3 months, I was wondering why I was even there. Cause for me being an entrepreneur, I can't sit still, Marianne.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go do something.
Hmm.
Uh, but, life is really weird. So when I got the bad news from our investor, I sat there, um, trying to figure out what to do. And then it struck me just like that. Coincidentally, the week prior to that, we were learning the subject matter at the class was learning how to raise capital. And so I saw it as a sign.
Absolutely.
Uh, I, from there, basically called Elsie. She's the director of the SBA. Um, Being so young, seeing like everyone knows me, like just because I've been the youngest, so they've really kind of grew kind of close to me. She gave me a list of like about 10 pages, and basically it was a list of 10 pages of banks that would honestly gives a chance
Wow.
being so small.
Yeah.
And so me, Mike, and the crew, we got it was basically an MBA in cash flow, so to say the least, but more importantly, an MBA in humility. And so um, we got to work.
Wow.
So 10 pages in, basically got rejected by everyone, Mary.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was like we were about a month in. The pressure was coming now, where it's like the financial pressures.
Yeah.
So for me, hard work is nothing now. I like that. I'll
Right.
do it all day, but having financial pressures like that, like it really toughens you up.
Absolutely.
Bro. Yeah, banks weren't calling because we didn't have a bank, other than our own bank. But the contractor was calling, asking for his money. And I know I'm shouting everyone out, but I'm really grateful for him.
Good.
JRT, uh, we owed them about $2 million, and they gave us a chance.
Wow.
So shout out to JRT. The airport was asking us what was going on. Didn't really tell them, Marianne, because I'm not here to kind of complain.
Yeah.
But I told him that I'd figure it out. Eventually told Ken, Mr. Buchanan. Ken is my mentor. He's also the VP of revenue, and he's in charge of the concessions program.
Wow.
But I got to give it to them, all the leadership. They stuck by our side. But long story short, yeah, I got to work with Michael and Dom and Mimi. We basically went through every single line, called them up, and basically got rejected by every single one. I got to the last one, Marianne, on the last page, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the last one." It was literally, I was. Have you heard this? Like, like I was eating a no for breakfast. I was eating a no for breakfast. I was eating a no for dinner, and I was eating a no for snacks, all in between.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I got all that because you become numb to it. Yeah, right. The mission is getting it done.
Yeah.
We got to the last page. I got to the last bank, Marianne. I called them up, and this is a bank that we've been going back and forth with. But long story short, they were like, "You don't have enough cash flow. Like, you guys don't have any experience in the airport, and you don't have enough cash flow. Like, your businesses, there's only one to sustain a $2.5 million loan." And so for me, that was a big wake up call of like, "Hey, you're not the man. You're not as big, or you're not as good as you think."
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a lot of humility.
Mhm.
But yeah, long story short, they told us no. And then that following day, um, defeated, not knowing what to do. But, like, weirdly enough, like, as much as, like, there was so many obstacles, along the way, the team and I never really panicked. Like, we knew that we were gonna be okay.
Yeah.
We were really scrappy. But, got to the last page, got rejected. That following day, I sat there at the office trying to figure it out, and I got a phone call, that we won Small Business of the Year. And so, I took that as a sign.
Absolutely.
I called the last bank and, basically asked him, I told him the story, and they took a chance on us.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. And I'm imagining you getting out of bed the day after you had no for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks in between.
Yep.
What it takes physically, emotionally, spiritually to get out of bed and say, A, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to be here when it gets figured out, and to believe that somehow the right thing is going to happen. And I'm identifying with you around the pressure of going over the last 2 years from solopreneur to
Yeah.
carrying a team, and the burden that can be if we don't resource ourselves,
Yep.
take care of ourselves, keep ourselves in the right mind frame. And for me, believe that I'm being used as a vessel to meet the needs of clients and my team.
Exactly. You nailed it on the dot, Marianne. Like, for me, everything that you said and more, right? And more. Like, for me too, like, I'm glad that I went through it.
Mm.
And I'm sure that you are too, with your own personal experiences.
Yeah.
That's why I feel 10 years older. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like getting it started, right? But everything is 2020 in hindsight.
Mhm.
I want to give, like, shout out to the team too. Like, we won multiple awards. So this past year, being the first one, we won Best Technology. Um, I've always thought I was the latest. Man, like, in reality, I'm pretty tech savvy, but, like, such a competitive advantage to be so young, going into an industry that's it's ripe to get disrupted. We can talk
Yeah.
about that too as well.
Yeah.
But right timing, right place, right people, like I
Yeah.
said. So it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when a bank would say, "You don't know how to operate in an airport." I'm like, how many the one thing that airports have in spades is people looking for something to do, and it's a captive audience. So I'm sure that was a point that you sold here.
For sure. And the fact that we're a captive audience, the fact of the team,
Yeah.
for me, it's really easy, to really to showcase my team because, as much as I am hungry and driven, like, us collectively together, we're unstoppable. But more importantly too, like, I think the number one factor, and to anyone listening out there that is having trouble finding, financial institutions or
Yeah.
investors to help you, is passion.
Yeah.
You gotta have the passion. People can read it off, especially, people in the financial, industries, like, they're looking for that magic that they don't have anywhere else.
That's
But
right.
at the same time, right, Marianne, like, understanding the numbers. So now that
Both.
it's both, right? And I would say even lean more towards the number side. You gotta really know your business, like the back of your hand. I'm very lucky to have a numbers savant as my business partner. So I'm always learning, but, like, having both sides, that's the special formula for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Hey, noticers, if you're dreaming of glowing, healthy skin, you must try Hana Azul Korean skincare. Myung Chong has been transforming skin for 27 years with facials so good, they create the Hana Azul glow. I've been going to her med spa for years, and my skin looks better than ever. Her products use medical-grade ingredients that truly nourish your skin and keep it radiant. Visit hennaazul.com to explore her amazing products and services. That's HANNAISUL.com. Now go get your glow. Ton, a lot of us experience ourselves as leaning toward one or the other. and our path forces us to go into that really uncomfortable spot of developing in our area of deficiency. And I think I certainly identify with that. I know our listeners do. And as you looked at kind of facing this moment of doubt and fear, how did you have people you could turn to and really express that? That's been an interesting thing for me is I don't want to share it with my team, right? If I'm questioning things for me personally, and who could really understand the plight of an entrepreneur is what goes through my head. Who have you had in your life to turn to?
I've had a lot of people to turn to. Like, for me, like this experience in particular, as much as I've had a lot of support, it was really lonely. Like, who's gonna lend you $2 million, right? And so my mentors, Ray from New Zealand, obviously I talked about Ken,
Yeah.
uh, even my old bosses, right? Like, shout out to Dr. Michael. Um, but for me, my girlfriend,
Mhm.
you know, there's certain things, and the struggle too is like being that tough guy for the team, right? Um, Luckily for me too, I'm just myself. I'm not trying to be anything other than uh, who I am, and so like I was vulnerable to my team. Like I did freak out a little bit, but having them by my side, to having each other,
Yeah.
um, really helped a lot
It's awesome.
because we were moving mountains.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're moving mountains, and so like like I said, like to me when I think about the whole experience, like it had a lot of people, but at the same time very lonely, right?
Mhm.
It was just more so keeping it together for myself so I
Yeah.
can kind of lead the team.
Mhm.
Um, but was very fortunate to have everyone else too. So yeah,
That's beautiful.
very
And
broad, very broad. Sorry, Marianne.
no, it's lovely, and to say that you did feel comfortable being vulnerable with your team, um, tells us that that was something you must have practiced up to that point to have built that level of trust with them.
For sure. Yeah. So, Ampersand. So we are a local award-winning coffee shop. We're a coffee shop by day, and at night return to a bar.
Yeah.
Amp is going through a really great transformation now too as well. We're transforming our coffee shop not to just a coffee shop or bar, but we want to create a space where you can enjoy it throughout the day. And
Right.
so if you come at 5 p.m. or if you come at 7, you don't necessarily have to drink a cocktail. We're gonna have, mocktails and coffee options for you. But, for us, we see the trend with the newer generation going towards not alcohol.
Right.
Um, and so we're growing as time goes. Um, back to where I was thinking. Sorry, I'm going everywhere, but
Which is good.
thank you. And AMP is not just a reflection of me, it's a reflection of everyone on my team. And so within my team, I have Mimi, who is the director of basically all the coffee operations, Michael, who has been a key player towards all our bar operations and development of like partnerships with other brands and people. And then I have Dom, who started the business with me, one of my best friends. When we first started Marianne, we had $0, just literally some kids, some dreams, driving down forward. I don't know what I was thinking, Marianne. Like we don't know what we're thinking, but after finding money, finding investments, and being
Mhm.
poor, um, all the shops that we've had to build ourselves. But
Yeah.
going through that process, we now own a construction company. We built out other restaurants. We just got done with a $2 million concert venue. We also built a sushi restaurant. You
Holy
name
smokes. Did
it.
this come out of the need to build at DFW and you just said, "This is now a core competency of ours"?
Well, it came prior to it. Like for us, just being so poor, we had to figure out ways to build stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so, like for me, I'm more like my skill set is just kind of like coming up the strategy, coming up the plans, mixing the two. Dom from our side became a contractor, a general contractor, and so yeah, and that's how it came to be. Like just pressures from having no choice but to come better. We grew out of that. So
Yeah,
well, yeah, app is a reflection of my life, their skill sets, their lives too as
yeah.
well. And so, yeah, I would say I would know it like that.
It's amazing. And I see it as, I mean, if you look from the outside, it's a very natural process of learning. Like that,
Yes.
you assembled kind of this, not bootstrap, but sort of you bootstrapped, you made it work. And then it was time then that the universe, whoever, was like, it's time for you now to understand how your business is going to be financed and how you're going to leverage more formal sources. And so, boop, we're going to take what you know and you're going to figure out a new way.
Exactly. Exactly. You nailed it on the dot too. And like now, like I see it as a sign just to help other people.
Yep.
Right. So we're the very like I'm a very logical yet creative person. And like for me, like so much coincidences don't make sense.
That's right.
Right. And so for me it's be a good person, Marianne. I think that like if there was one fundamental piece of business advice I would like tell everyone,
Yeah,
just be a good person.
absolutely.
It comes back in spades.
Well, and keep showing up, I think, is something I hear from you. Like, you expect that there will be problems, there will be issues, which we like to call opportunities. But let's be real. There will be roadblocks, things break down. We are called into leadership to handle these things that might scare away other people. And we step into it and volunteer to handle these things for the people on our teams. And so if we're expecting it, if we know it's part of the territory, if we do the things we need to do to keep our energy up and to resource ourselves, then we can keep showing up. And I think that's the key. Is that kind of your experience?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, right? Yeah, I would say so. Just show up every day. You know you're gonna hit,
That's
and
right.
more importantly, just I'm very people oriented, and so take care of people, and they'll take
That's
care of
right.
you.
And keep looking for people who do the things you don't do well.
Exactly to make yourself better too.
Yeah.
I've realized that I'm not that special, Marianne. What makes me special is the ability to make the team,
Yeah.
right? And so
Mm.
exactly what you note on the dot, like I remember when we first started, and I was like trying to make Instagram posts and like even like okay, so like this past when we first started in the airport, um, the amount of inventory that you go in the airport is like 10 times. And so I had my position became went from CEO to executive cart pusher. And so for a period of 3 months, man, I was pushing a cart for like that was like twice my weight at least, just up and down the tarmac. But like doing things like that and getting back into the weeds
Mhm.
um, has really made a monumental impact in my life too, as well. Especially as we grow and grow and grow,
Mhm.
it forces you to understand your business inside and out from the bottom up.
And know the what your team's dealing with,
Yep,
the skills and capabilities and competencies that are really needed now because they're different, perhaps, or on a different scale than they were 5 years ago, right?
exactly.
It's easy, I think, for us to think, and I'll do this too, "Oh, when I hire enough people, I won't have to be engaged in the same way. I can focus on what I do best." Well, yes, but then also sometimes no. Sometimes be ready to get back in there and be chief problem solver again.
Exactly. And that's the only way that you're gonna lead effectively.
Mhm.
Pretty simply.
Yep. What do you do to motivate your team? Kind of what's your philosophy around how you engage with them day to day or week to week that keeps this spirit, this can do attitude going?
Wow. With the team collectively, like honestly, just caring, Marianne. Like I have a great team. Like turnover is not a problem for us. And I look at everywhere else, and people are running into hiring problems and you know, um, operational problems of not finding the right talent. And I look at my team, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so lucky. From
Wow,
everyone
that's
that
so rare for hospitality, basically, which is your industry, right? To not have extreme turnover?
turnover is turnover is everywhere, especially in the bar industry and the coffee industry.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really hard right now. People are barely making ends meet.
Mhm.
But for me, it's like, having such a great team and obviously like, I'll be frank with you, I don't have money to pay them $1 million.
Sure.
like I would, right? But from some way and somehow they always stick by our side. And having such gems on the team has really made it a lot easier to run an effective business. And so for me, just having that key piece has been monumental towards our growth. Yeah.
It's amazing. The with the with the funder, the investor leaving the picture kind of being a pivot for you in and now coming out on the other side, knowing more and being grateful for that experience. What's something different that you do now that you didn't do before that experience?
S- For me personally, on a personal level, just like sitting there and just being grateful for what I have.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, just for prior to that, I was always grateful, but we wake up, you know, and I'm sitting there. I'm still like, just like last week, I was a barista too, making cappuccinos and stuff too, Marianne. So we need it, right?
yeah,
But like, when it's like hard and you're sitting there at 5 a.m. doing some inventory, um, it makes you a little bit more grateful when you kind of just take a step back to realize that, not many people get to do this.
that's right.
Yeah.
And honestly, it can be gone.
It can be gone just like that too. And, for me, it's like, where are the odds, right? Where are the odds that you got to do this? And kind of like what, I told you earlier too, like my job now is to run with it.
Mhm.
So this past year, going through all the financial struggles that we did and digging ourselves out, and now we're the best that we've ever been. And more importantly, having these connections with financial institutions, um, and going through all the problems that we did too as well,
Mm.
I've gotten to really see the good and the bad side of the airport industry.
Ooh, I
So
bet.
yeah, the airport industry, very competitive, Marianne, like
Mhm.
a lot of merging, a lot of conglomerates. And so a small company like us is literally a pebble in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mm.
And so after going through that struggle of finding money and overcoming it and having the right resources now, like my dream and what I'm doing differently from what I did before is really making an effort to help other people. So, obviously we have applications where hopefully we get one in Terminal F. Um, yeah, we're
Okay.
hoping for
F for fun.
F for fun, which is a great project, by the way. It's going to bring so much to all the cities. Um,
Great.
but now that, we've gone through the weeds and we've really seen the bad and the good side of the industry, I want to help other entrepreneurs bring their businesses to the airport and grow it.
Cool.
So like, the deals are a lot more, crazier at the airport, to say the least. Let's just leave it like that. But
Yeah.
for me, I would love to give more opportunities to small entrepreneurs, and more importantly, like restaurateurs,
Yeah.
to really grow their business in the airport with the right partnership, with the right equity that they deserve. And
That's
so that's what we're going for. Like I told you too, we've been really lucky to bring the first robotic barista. We brought the first 2 robots that are, to the airport, but, we're working right now with a company in Arizona called Hestia.
mm,
Our goal is to have robotic baristas in all types of platforms and venues, whether it's, the Rangers Stadium, which we
yeah.
hope get one day, or, like, let's just say a busy touristy area.
Mm.
I would love to have a location there. We're also working towards a self-delivery system where, you would order on your app, and let's say if you're in proximity of the airport location, a robot will actually take it to your gate.
Oh my
So
gosh. Now, would
sort of,
that be like a drone style or on
um,
wheels or
we'll be on wheels. Like we're in the terminal, so there's not a lot of terrain. The terrain is really smooth,
yeah,
and then everyone's on their best behavior too in the airport,
that's
and
true.
so it's the right environment for it.
Mhm.
And luckily for me, I'm at the right place, right time.
That's so cool. Now, how do people feel about robots knowing we're all like AI taking jobs? How are people responding to that?
Super polarizing.
Yeah.
That's really super polarizing. Half the population will, sorry about that, Mary. Half the population loves it.
Mhm.
Like they're like they pay $5 honestly just to see a robotic arm move,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, but on this flip side too, you have the other side of the spectrum where they're really afraid, to be honest with you, right? And so for me, it's really nice to see both sides where you know AI and I'm really interested with technology, by the way. If I wasn't
Absolutely.
doing this, I'd probably be tackling that. But
Yeah.
with AI, with Chat GPT and like Grok and everything coming out like that, like we have to move towards that wave.
Yeah.
And so for me, how do you balance that, right? How do you balance uh human capital with tech advances, right? Where I'm not trying to be Starbucks and Dunkin'. I love my employees. I would never want to strike, right?
Right.
Where but at the same time, I really feel for those employees that are on strike because I can see where they are afraid that their jobs are on the line.
Right.
And
Right.
so, how do I balance that as a CEO?
Mhm.
For me, like these robots are nice. Uh, I'm positioning the brand to be the best, and
Right.
tech wise, but it's never gonna replace a
Yeah.
barista. Like m- people are going to us for that human connection.
That's right.
And for me, emphasizing that to the team,
Mm.
and then more so using robots as more of a support system
Right.
versus something to take over their jobs.
Yeah.
So, for me, building Gizmo and our robot,
Mhm.
it wasn't to replace any barista, but it was to be a barista at 12 a.m. when no one wants to be there,
Absolutely.
right?
And be an attraction,
And it's
right?
an attraction too. It's pretty novel right now.
Yeah.
Um, but with where it's going, I definitely see singularity happening with all the technology kind of like collectively joining in a sense.
Yeah.
And for us, like as much as we are a coffee company, I'm really trying to build out Ampersand more than just coffee, more than just cocktails, but
Yeah.
a lifestyle. And how do I support that and give our customers what they want is through data. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome. Always thinking ahead, sir.
trying to Mariette. I think it's just being sharpened from all the great entrepreneurs that are around me now too. So
That's awesome. Sponge, taking it all in.
yeah.
Yeah. So, to wrap up a little bit, what is and this is a question we always ask at the end of inner work. What is a value or a mindset that you live by? And what is a daily practice or habit that keeps you going and keeps you strong?
Well, can I answer it in three parts?
Absolutely.
Cool. Mindset wise, this is like for me personally, just with myself, um, the mantra of like hard work works, is a big one.
Mhm.
And then, work like your life depends on it
Wow.
because it does, man. Like, and people
Mhm.
forget that. And so, like for me, um, like I told you, like they're my friends too, but they're so competitive.
Yeah.
Act like someone's like competing to take that food off your plate. And
Mhm.
so, me as a leader, like I'm always spearheading to get these deals done because
Yeah.
I need to take care of my family. I need to take care of my team,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what gets me going. On a business side of like leading a team, and I don't know, this is very broad, and for me, I'm like obviously Asian, but Eastern work ethic and Western systems.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Bring them together. Absolutely.
Yeah, work
Right.
like your work. If my parents are immigrants, so we didn't
Yeah.
have anything. Everything that we have, we built by ourselves.
Yeah.
Nothing was given to us.
Yeah.
And so, having that work ethic and bringing it with the principles of, Western systems of how to scale your company and how to effectively lead it in a way that is built for scale,
Mm.
um, has been the mindset that I've used to lead the business.
Yeah.
And then, what was the last
A
question again?
practice, a daily practice or habit.
Being grateful, very cheesy, but
It's not cheesy. It is essential.
yeah, I'll sit in my car and be grateful.
Mm.
and just take care of yourself too. So from your diet, like I think that's been a big one for me too. So everyone that's listening to you, you can't take care of anyone else, so you can't take care of yourself.
That's right.
And so exercising. Shout out to the run club, Ampersand Running Club. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Dom, my business partner, he started it. We started it as a joke, Marianne. Yeah, we started it as a joke. He basically signed up for a marathon and had no one to train for.
Oh
I
my
trained with him.
He needed a running club.
He needed people to run with him, right? And so he signed me up, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go there and like not be prepared. Like I'm not about that life. And so we started running at our Bledsoe location. It grew from like me, Dom, and Michael and Mimi and our manager Jamie. And then it grew from there to like 10 people. Then it grew to 100 people. Now we have thousands of people, right?
Seriously?
Yeah, every Monday, I would say every Monday, Thursday, there's about 300 people there. We
Oh
just
my
did a
gosh.
partnership with Nike. We just got sponsored by Gatorade and Propel. We landed our first deal with that. So I love Propel. Shout out to Gatorade too.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
this is community.
and it's about community.
Ton, this is community, and that's what you're building.
And that is another mindset that I'm always talking about.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm like segueing from a lot, but like you're totally right, Marianne. Like I that's one way of putting it. It's like really building the community and doing it organically, like not in a way that's forced. Because when you first start, it's never about money. If anything, we've lost a lot of money, right? And now it finally makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It's incredible. And just and running, this is true too. One foot in front of the other, right? You just keep showing up. You just keep going. And we believe we're going to get better and better. And those tools that we need, the resources we need will appear.
Yep. Totally agree.
Phenomenal. I know your parents must be so proud too.
Yeah, my parents, like, whenever they were proud in the beginning, to say the least, Marianne. So, like, my story is that, like, I am the biggest mess up in the world, Marianne. Like, I did pretty well in high school. I got a full ride to TCU.
Yeah.
Long story short, as much as I was good in school, I loved partying too. So,
Looks you.
uh, but I wasn't good at disciplining myself. So, long story short, within that first year, I went from the golden child to the black sheep. Lost my scholarship, got kicked out of my dorm, and I would say that I hit rock bottom at a very young age.
Yeah.
But the silver lining to the story is that, like, you fast forward, I'd say like 8 years now. Our TCU location is across the street from my dorm room. I got kicked out of, and then that can the same scholarship that gave me the boot. Um, Shout out to Dr. Gordon. She gave me my scholarship when I was 18, took it away that same year, but we became really close throughout that time of like messing up, and she's really stuck by my side.
Wow.
Just seeing the growth, especially when we opened up the location, and then now with like the airport and whatnot. She invited me to be on the committee, and so these past 2 years, well, past 4 months ago, I had the fortunate opportunity to sit on the committee to choose the next batch of community scholars.
Wow.
And we had the opportunity to give away about 50 full rides to TCU, which,
Holy smokes.
that's a premium. I think collectively it was over $25 million.
Wow.
So, going from a kid that was part of the high schools, the underprivileged high schools that the community serves, and now, and especially with me going from messing up and ruining my life to now sitting on the board and helping other students and showing them, giving them the perspective to not do what I did. So, yeah, it's been a trick.
It's incredible. I'm seeing the themes emerge. Humility to admit when maybe we haven't prepared the way that we could, or we haven't performed the way that we could. We're grateful for the opportunity to keep going, and we keep showing up.
Yep. And
That's Toan's book right there. If you're wanting to take notes on the book that you're writing, there you go.
fail forward, guys, right? And fail forward and do it. Learn how to take it on the chin sometimes,
That's right. That's
and
right.
how you respond to that. God, life, the universe has a weird way of showing you what you're made of.
That's right.
And it's crazy too, Marianne, that we speak of it too. Like now, it's kind of popping in my head. Obviously going through that financial stuff at the airport. Like I think that hitting rock bottom when I was younger
Mhm.
prepared me for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
It
it
all
all makes sense now. Now that we're
yeah,
talking about it.
yeah, there's no experience that's wasted.
Exactly. So
Ever.
yeah, I'm a slumdog millionaire kid.
I love that. It's incredible. Oh, Ton, thank you so much for joining us. Your story is so inspiring. We can't wait to see everything that you're going to be doing in the community. And everybody, thanks for joining us for Inner Work. Please go get some coffee at Ampersand, Bledsoe, TCU location, 2 locations now at the airport. Is that right? DFW? And
Yeah,
then
it's
potentially a third.
we're at 2 locations in Fort Worth, maybe some more, growing as we, try to take it it's trying to take it relatively slow, but,
Yeah,
more to come, to say the least.
that's incredible. Thank you for building the community that you're building.
Thank you, Marianne, for giving me this opportunity. Like I said, I was really nervous coming on here, but you did a really good job.
You're
Thank you for having this platform, and more importantly, thank you for everyone that's listening. If you're around at the shops, please say hi. I would love to make a cup of coffee for you.
Yes, yes, and look for Ton like John.
Look for time like John.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Thanks so much, Ton. I'll see you soon, friend. Bye, everybody. See you soon.